Good morning, wonderful people, great dear friends, wherever you are on the face of this very planet, this very morning. I say welcome to another exciting edition of our question and answer session, where every question you may have, every doubt you may have, beclouding your sense of judgment, any issues, any concerns are dealt with live to the hearing of the entirety of humanity. I welcome each and every one of you. I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you. Unfortunately, we were not able to bring you this very program last week, but we are here this very week in keeping with our promise that we will be live to take all your questions and all your concerns, that we may become slightly more enlightened, more educated as to what we are doing, where we are heading to, and why we do things the way we do it. I welcome you, and as I do so, I will most fervently encourage you to welcome other people as well, because this very broadcast is going out to the whole world in over 160 countries and territories. People are listening via our app, IPOB Community Radio. People are listening via Radio Biafra app. People are listening via our FM in Biafra land, in Abuja, in Kanu, in Lagos, and in other parts of the damnable Zoological Republic as well. We are hoping to bring enlightenment, to bring knowledge, to bring understanding and a sense of reasoning to all that we do, not just to Biafrans all over the world, but also to those who listen to us and to all lovers of freedom. My name is Nnamdi Kanu. I am the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra all over this very planet, the director of Radio Biafra and Biafra Television, and by the very special grace of the Most High Elohim, a servant of the wonderful people of Biafra. We are going to pray, and after that I will give you the number to call. Our number, of course, has changed. We are going to give you a new WhatsApp line to call, please, and also remember we are on Skype as well, and please do take care when you call us. If people are making their comments, if people are talking about something very important, I would encourage each and every one of you to please hold fire and listen to them before you call, please. Once again, I welcome you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you. We are now going to proceed to pray, and then after that, we are going to open our lines. Please remember, we do not need your felicitations. Of course, I encourage that, and I welcome it wholeheartedly. As I'm praying for you, so are some of you also praying for us. But what I would like you to do this morning is, when it is your turn to speak, please go straight to the point. Ask those difficult, very, very difficult and awkward questions. We shall endeavor to answer you as truthfully as we can, and as always, do not forget that we do not hide anything here. We are live and we are direct, and the whole world, of course, is listening to us, including the Efulefus, the saboteurs, the traitors, and the Janjaweed. Everybody is glued to their system this very morning, listening to us. And you must also appreciate the fact that Facebook is doing all they can to suppress what we are doing. They have failed, they will continue to fail, and we shall continue to triumph. Let us pray, please. Our prayer this morning is taken from the very lovely book of Isaiah, chapter 43. Beginning from verse 1, of course, is a very simple prayer which we must pray. For all that we are today, tomorrow, and forever, we owe to the mercy and to the grace of the Most High, unto whom this very morning, afternoon, night, or evening, depending on where you are, we commit all that we are unto his ever-loving hands. For he has charged us to fear not, for he has redeemed us. He summoned us by name even before we are born. That is why we do what we do. That is why we proclaim his name ceaselessly. That is why we always say, without fear nor favor, that all that we are today is through the grace of the Most High. No matter what we are passing through, the Heavenly Father, O God of all that has been created, is with us. and he will remain with us until Biafra comes in our time. We are working very, very hard to make sure that we restore Biafra as quickly as possible, as imminently as possible. We are not relenting. All that we are doing is geared towards giving every glory, every adoration, every honor unto the Most High, because we are nothing without Him, and with Him having charged us not to be afraid. This very morning we proclaim that we are not afraid. We shall preach this very gospel of truth, that the mercy of the Most High will abide with us now and forevermore, we pray. He said, please, for those of you who are joining us for the very first time, and indeed for every other person, please, you must listen very, very carefully and attentively. This is the number you're going to reach us with this very morning. Our number has changed. The number has changed. Our main WhatsApp line has changed. There are other ones that people can get hold of us through, but the main one is +49 162 78 11 190. I repeat, +49 162 78 11190. That is the number through which you can and will be able to get hold of us this very morning. I repeat, +49, which is a German number, +49 162 78 11190. That is treble one. +49 162 78 11190. We have somebody who happens to be on Skype. Let us see what they have to say. The caller on Skype, can you hear me?
Morning, sir.
Good morning to you. Please give us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Zonma Chima. I'm calling from Dubai.
From Dubai, please go ahead. The whole world is listening. Go ahead.
So I'm very happy to speak with you today. I've been calling to hear from you, but it doesn't be possible. But today I got to your call. Thank you, sir. So I want to ask, my question is, what I want to ask is that all these saboteurs that are being hindering our restoration of Biafra, if this Biafra comes and they ask for forgiveness and people say you should forgive them, are we going to forgive them? Because for me, as a Biafran, I'm not ready to forgive anybody. I want to know if you will be able to forgive them if they plead and people say you should forgive them.
That will be left up to the people. As for me, I have no forgiveness in my dictionary when it comes to saboteurs. We are not going to forgive them because they know what they're doing. But I am of the opinion that most of them will return back to the Sahel, to the Janjaweed territory, to Arewa land, where they belong, because that is where most of their fathers come from. Most of them will go back to that very place, that I can assure you. But if it is to do with what we are doing, to be part of it, then believe you me, they can never ever be ever be allowed to remain in Biafra land. It is not possible because they are conscious of what they are doing and they are doing it deliberately. And let me also correct one misleading impression. They are not stopping us. They are incapable of stopping us. They do not exist. If you go to Biafra land today, you will see that they are nowhere to be found. You cannot see them on the streets anymore. Ever since we raised our flag, ever since the dragon banner has been raised, you don't see them anymore. They do not come out. They do not hold meetings anymore because they know what is in store for them. Saboteur has no place in our society. They have no place in our land, and we are not going to pity them. We cannot pity them, not now, not tomorrow, because we are going to set an example with them that others may learn. So be rest assured there will be no space for saboteurs in Biafra land. And that is final. Thank you very much for your call. I have another caller on the line. This caller is on our new WhatsApp line. Please give us your name and where you're calling from, if you may. Good morning. Good morning to you, please. Go ahead. You're calling from Angola? Please go ahead. We're listening. Go ahead.
Yeah, Chairman. There is another put in mind because there are, you taught us how to reason. You understand? So the other day I was doing some research and there are some certain things I noticed because from the main fact we are told that it's the white people that bring church to us. You understand? But since I was born up to this very moment, there are two things I don't understand up to this very moment. That a god or all these other gods we have in our local villages and all these deities, I have not seen anyone named after Shuku. I have not seen. We have many she's, but Shuku is the only Kabiam. But the second thing is that I know that Amadi is a first son, and Yora is people's first son. So, what is there any gods they call Amadioha? Or are they trying to tell us that Amadioha means the first son that everyone likes? Because Amadioha, you understand? I want to know if there is any deity they call Amadioha. Because they used to say that Amadioha always justify is a god of justice. You understand? And Amadi means the first son of everyone. So I want to know, is that means that a deity?
No. Thank you very much. You've asked a very searching, a very probing question, which we are going to deal with this morning. Thank you very much for that, my dear brother. You're calling from Angola. Everything to do with every deity in our culture is as a result of fraud. It is fraudulent. Just like the way you have fake pastors today was how you had fake priests. Ojena more in those days, people who are the conduit, the Igwekalas of those days, people who were conduit between the realm of the living and the spiritual. They became very corrupt, as you have corruption today in the church and in the mosques as well. People tried to twist the word of God. And remember, in those days, we used to rely on all these people to come and tell us what God is saying, not what the gods are saying, because you don't have multiple gods. No, not at all. As you said rightly, you only have one Chubu, only one supreme God in heaven, and nobody bears his name. No deity can bear his name. It is not possible. All these deities were created just the same way that we have IPOB, and people are trying to create other mushroom movements within IPOB. Of course, we've clamped down on them. Was how it was in those days, very corrupt. You will see a very corrupt priest, highly corrupt. You will see a very beautiful girl, perhaps out of jealousy that his own daughters are very ugly. He will go and proclaim that the gods have said that this woman is possessed by a marine spirit, all that garbage. Are you following me at all? Yet he will say, this lady, I just want to give you an example as to the consequences of this corruption of our spirituality. That was how the Osuka system came about. I want people to listen very carefully this morning. Then this baboon will go and say, oh, this very beautiful girl, she's possessed by a marine spirit. The God said that, she should be kept apart for him. In the night, this man will go and sleep with that woman, and the woman will give birth. When they ask him, how come this woman that you said the God is now marrying is pregnant, he will say the God pregnanted her in the middle of the night. And because of that, any child that this woman is to bear from now onwards, nobody can marry them because they belong to the God. That was how the useless, hopeless, idiotic Osu caste system came about. All as a result of fraud and corruption. Because there's only one God. We used to go to Arochukwu to worship that very God. Even before they corrupted Arochukwu as well, when the Jukun people came and started buying slaves, our priests became corrupt inside Arochukwu, which was why Elohim destroyed it through the British. So that is the history of our people. Always fraud. The thing is that we have not been vigilant. We have not. It's only now that we are becoming very vigilant, insisting on doing that which is right and holding those who are doing evil things accountable. It's only now that we have done it. And I want for people to understand that. And to understand that very, very clearly. Everything you're seeing, all this useless deity in most villages, is as a result of complete and utter fraud. Lies. That is why it's called Arosi. That's what it is. That is the meaning of Arosi. Because from our name, you get everything that you want. Our names are literal, they're not metaphorical. ROC means what something bad said. That was how the useless Osuka system came about. If you ask them, they will not tell you the truth. They will tell you, oh, the God said this woman is possessed. The God said these people should not be touched. It is the idiot, the stupid so-called Dibia or Janamo, who goes in the middle of the night to sleep with that very woman. And now, out of frustration and anger and, a feeling of rejection, that woman will begin to behave as if she's mad. Because she cannot understand the rubbish that is going on. They say it's a Obanje, it's a woman and all that rubbish. That was how this nonsense came about. There is only one God, one supreme God in heaven, Chukwu Kikabiama. Anybody telling all this nonsense they are doing, Peter, Dochie, and all the rest of them talking about gods, as if God is a plural. So then how do they decide? So all these gods, they now sit around somewhere and decide. They are just bastardizing our culture and our way of life. There is only one Chukwu. And the reason why those people in those days were afraid to call God was because if you mess up, if you lie, you will die. Before you are given the other title in those days, you will go and take an oath. And after taking that very oath, they will make 7 incisions on your tongue. They will use blade razor to carve 7 incisions on your tongue. Your tongue will bleed. That means that any day you lie, you will die. They started, running to all these their useless gods. As I said, it's just like some pastors you have in Pentecostalism lying in the name of God and in the name of Christ, hoping that somehow they can deceive some people. And that is why these days people don't do anything anymore. Instead of being very proactive, they're telling you that God will do everything for them when they know that heaven only helps those who help themselves. Thank you very much for your question this morning. It's very searching. I don't know if you have gotten the answer that you're looking for or if you have anything else to add.
There's another thing that another thing is that the other day I was trying to find some answer by what you taught us the other day. You said about which parts of the country, which parts are Igbos. You understand? So I wrote in Google Igbo land, and in that Igbo land, I now go with Wikipedia. There is a lot of things. The entrance. You understand why they call them Igodo? So I find that the entrance of the, you understand, there is a map there, and there are many things which we are not including. You understand? I want you to put more light in that that topic, because when I wrote Igbo land, I went to Wikipedia. They tell me about many things, that are Igbos. You understand? But there is something ironical. At the bottom, they say in Nigeria, you understand? They wrote what white people wrote about us, they include everything. But they say politically in Nigeria is only 5 states and they're part of, you understand? But the fundamental thing is that they include all other roots and branches, you understand? But when they want to write politically in Nigeria, which means I found out that Nigeria wanted to twist off, you understand? So when I wrote that search, Igbo land, and I went to Wikipedia, there is a lot of things I find that.
Yes, I will. Yeah, I understand, my dear brother, and thank you very much for that, and keep listening. The fact of the matter is that I have been doing a lot of research around the Igodomigo as well, and indeed it is the key. It is the entrance, because Igodomigo quite simply means the key that unlocks the key. That's what it is. And they do as well. Let me tell people something they don't understand about what Britain did to us. Britain perfected the system of divide and rule when they came to our land, because they first, amongst others, recognized what we represented. Britain knew the spiritual dimension of our people. Britain was afraid of the spiritual depth of Biafra and what Biafra portends for for Africa in terms of human development, advancement, and progress. So they proceeded to stifle it. And one of the best ways to conquer a people is to divide them. That is the easiest thing that anybody can do to you. Once they divide you, then you become fair game. You can be conquered very easily. So they proceeded to try to divide us. They proceeded to try to carve us away, because if you go to England, the English people is a mongrel race, of course. There is nobody called English. You have the Celtic people, so to speak, which are the Welsh and the Scottish people. And then the English came as a result of the conquest of England by Norman the Conqueror, who came from France. So England, as you have it today, are made up of the Angles, who are from Denmark and Norway, and also the Anglo and the Saxons, of course, who are from Germany. That is something that people don't quite understand. So they know about divide and rule. When they came to our land, the only way to try to diminish us is to diminish our numbers and then our landmass. First, diminish your number and your landmass. We have established time and time again on this program that language alone is not the only determinant as to who a people are in terms of homogeneity. Now, given that that is the case, rather than looking for what I call the underlying attributes as to what holds us together as a people, the British went about exacerbating that differentiates us from one another, especially language. They know that the crown, the Benin kingdom that you have today, came from Yoruba land. They know it is alien, it is foreign. They understand that very well. So what they now did is to now give them what I call a disproportionate sphere of influence all the way to River Niger, to say that all these areas come under the influence of the Oba of Benin. They even tried to get into Onitsha as well, forgetting the fact that people existed before the Obaship of Benin was enthroned, and that all that land is Igbo land, all of it. I wrote something on my page, something was published during our last broadcast on Wednesday, how Igbo land starts from Benue State all the way to Opobo. Somebody said, oh, stop this land grabbing. And that actually reminded me as to the very wretched and pathetic state of education in the zoo. I said Igbo land is there, is written very clearly. There are 3 Igbo-speaking local government areas in Benue State, part of the so-called North. Part of the so-called North. My anger is not that we are being divided, we are being balkanized, we are being reduced every day in terms of our numbers and in terms of our territory. It is what the likes of Ohaneze has failed to do over the years. They call themselves intellectuals, most of them, but they don't love our people. They have not done anything to show any sense of, should I say, urgency in terms of addressing some of the very terrible things that Nigeria and Britain before them has done to our people. That is why you have somebody openly talking rubbish about how Igbo land is only 5 states. It's of the 5 states of the Southeast. And they keep perpetuating this nonsense over and over and over and over again. They know where Isoko people comes from. They know where Robo people comes from. They know all these things. Go to Robo land and say the names, the answer. Go to Isoko and say the names, the answer. Hear it for yourself. Look at their language and their culture. Look at the way their women dress and everything. You will know that all of these people are from one source, one single source. But we've allowed ourselves to be divided. When you go to an Ijo man, he'll be talking rubbish, or a Ijo woman, talking absolute garbage. And when you ask them, where are you from? They say, we come from, I think we come, one is saying they came from, is it Burkina Faso, is it Liberia? That's how foolish we are. So, all those years that Britons and after them, Fulani Janjaweed spent dividing our people actually bought into it. And we bought into it because of our innate nature to self-hate. That's what we do very, very well. We do it very, very well. And these are the things that we are trying to reverse. And I'm glad to say that we have succeeded, or we are succeeding in reversing some of this nonsense. Thank you very much. Your call has been very, very amazing and illuminating. Igbo land starts from Igodo Migodo. I said Igbo land, Igbo IGP, or Igbo land starts from Igodo Migodo. Because it's the key that opens the key. Any day, that is why I have regard for our people, our sisters and our brothers who are from Igodo Migodo, who were insistent. Even me, initially I said, no, they cannot be part of us, until I went and started researching, because I learn every day. The same way that I teach is how I learn every day. Every blessed day I study, I read. Every blessed day I want to learn more, because only a fool will stop learning. Every day you learn. You may hold a position which, after a while, you come to realize is no longer valid, and then you jettison it and embrace the new one. When they kept convincing me and giving me facts and evidence, proof, Asian land, everywhere you have in Edo, that it is actually part and parcel of Igbo land, I had to agree to it, because the evidence are very clear. They are very glaring. Is anybody disputing the fact that the throne, the Benin throne, came from Yoruba land? Is anybody disputing that? Nobody. Now they came from somewhere into Igodo Migodo, into Idu land. Who were the people in Idu land before they came? Just like somebody telling me Mongo Park founded River Niger, as if we're a bunch of idiots. How about the people that live in Obaru? How about those who live at the banks of the river before even the white man was created? So these are some of the nonsensical ideas that we need to jettison and embrace the truth. And the truth is that Igbo land is far more bigger than they give it credit for. And the reason why they keep shrinking us every blessed day, now they have confined us to only 5 states, is because they want to divide and rule us, and they have succeeded. And their agents in Ohanese and the so-called governors that you have are the ones actually perpetuating these very, should I say, injustice, so to speak. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very, very much. People are calling from all over the place. I have a caller who happens to be on the line. Give us your name and where you are. The caller on our new WhatsApp line, your name and where you are, please. Can you hear me? Chukwebuka, you're calling from around this world. Please go ahead. Chukwebuka, go ahead.
Mazi, nothing much.
You're breaking.
There is nothing that made by man that has no expiring date.
Of course.
Nigeria is created by man, and the expiring date is near. So that's the only thing I want to conclude.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very, very much for that. Let's take this call again. The caller on the line, can you hear me, please? Yes, please. Your name and where you're calling from? Good morning to you.
My name is Echezona Chukwu Omodo. I'm from Umoji, Demli North Local Government, Biafra land. I am in India.
In India. Thank you very much. Please go ahead.
My pleasure to speak with you today. Have been a long time. I'm trying to reach you. Sir, I am very, very happy to, I'm congratulating you in good work you're doing for our people. I thank you personally for myself as an eye-opener to me. I'm very, very happy in India here. We are still trying our best to make sure that our gospel is propagated. Sir, my question is this, sir. These people and these our governors that are still blindfolding people all around in the name to be secure them, to be under what I would like Nigeria. Now, what will be the penalty to them? Because they are still deceiving our people, trying to convince people, trying to disorganize our efforts, which I know that by the name of Chukwu Okada, they can do nothing. What will we do to them so that they can be able to vanish away from our land? That's my question, sir.
Thank you. The same question that our brother asked earlier. And my answer is always the same. I pray for them to repent and to change. I must be honest with you. I do pray for their repentance, for them to change and perhaps abandon their evil ways. That is what I pray for all the time. But should they refuse to abandon their evil ways, of course, at the right time, you know, a revolution is going to happen. And when that happens, you know what happens in a revolution? Every traitor and every saboteur is accounted for. That is what happens in a revolution. So all they're trying to do is to delay the inevitable. They now have the chance to repent and do that which is right. I posted something before we came on air this morning. In the north, everybody is agreed on one thing, that they need to conquer and Islamize the rest of the South, the Middle Belt and the South. A Fulani terrorist buys into this idea or has bought into it. A Fulani politician has bought into the idea. All their emirs and traditional rulers, they've all bought into the idea. There are people who are serving in the army and in the police have all bought into the idea. That is why you see them taking pictures with bandits. Even Ohaneze alluded to it a few days ago after many months of us highlighting this very fact. They have now alluded to the fact that, or they have now recognized the fact that Fulani people who are working or who are serving in the army and in the police do not arrest their own people. They take pictures with them with AK-47, with assault rifles. They are not imprisoned. But in Aba, people are being raided. People, they go into people's homes, they arrest them. And you'll be shocked that some of the people carrying out all these arrests and all these raids are Biafran people. So, since the Fulanis are organized in terms of wanting to make sure they take over our land, to kill us off, to rape our mothers and abduct our daughters, we should also come together as a people to resist them. And coming together as a people to resist them doesn't just mean only IPOB. It means everybody else. It means Biafran people, even Middle Belt people who are serving in the army. It means the DPP. It means the Chief Justice of Abia State, of all the states we have in Biafra land. For them to understand, they should say to themselves, how come you want me to prosecute our people, to jail them, when in your own land you are busy romancing bandits, you are busy giving scholarships to terrorists, you are busy building schools and colleges for them? Isn't that how intellectuals are supposed to reason? So that goes to the point you're trying to raise, my dear brother, and that was the point that was made earlier. Our people need to be reasonable and sensible. The people you're persecuting, the IPOB that you're against, the people that you're inviting Python dance, telling Buratai come and kill, the same Buratai you invited before to come and kill your people is now telling you he's going to declare state of emergency, and now you're saying no to it. But you are the cause of it. Had Ohaneze and governors not gone to Buratai in 2017 to say, bring your Python dance, come and kill our people, Buratai will not have the temerity or the guts to rise up to say, I will declare state of emergency. Can he say such rubbish about Yoruba land, Oduduwa land? No, of course he cannot say it, because Oduduwa elders cannot be as foolish as Ohaneze was to go and invite a foreigner to come and kill their people. They don't understand the consequences of what they are doing. All these things they are doing, it has consequences. That is something we want these people to understand. That is something we want them to appreciate. And the sooner they understand it, the better for everybody. Thank you very much, my dear brother, for calling. Thank you very, very much. We have somebody else on the line. Let us see where that very person is calling us from. The caller on the line, can you hear me, please? Your name and where you are. Give us your name and where you are. You're live on the air. Can you hear me? No. They cannot hear me. They cannot hear me. I don't know what is going on. They are not able to hear me. Let us take this call. The caller on the line on WhatsApp. Can you hear me? It's reconnecting. I don't know why. The caller on WhatsApp. Can you hear me? No. They cannot hear me, which is quite bizarre because normally, these things, they flow very smoothly, but I don't know why they are not able to hear me. So hopefully they should be able to reconnect us. We have people who are on the line. This person happens to be on Skype. The caller on Skype, can you hear me?
Yes, Ahmadika, I can hear you.
Thank you very much. Please, your name and where you're calling from, if you know.
My name is Ken. I'm calling from Katy, Texas.
What is your proper name, please? I don't understand what Ken means. What is your proper name, please?
Uchenna Elemnaya.
Is Uchenna not better than Ken, in your opinion?
It's better, sir.
Of course. Uchenna means the will of God in heaven. And that is, can you tell me the meaning of Ken? Do you know the meaning of Ken?
No, sir.
Okay, but that is your name. You don't know the meaning of it. Anyway, Ken means a Nordic prince. That is the meaning of it. It's Kenneth. It means a Nordic prince. But Uchenna is far more better. The will of Almighty God in heaven. That is why we are the chosen race. Please go ahead. The world is listening.
Yeah, I have two questions for you, sir. The first one is, in the case of what is going on, if you happen to generate to full-time hostilities, just like they did during the Arab Spring, the Arab nations, some of them had to throw a blanket on the internet so that the information of what was happening couldn't get out to the outside world. Now, what if Nigerian government decided to do that on the entire Biafra land? I mean, throw a blanket over the internet. Which other means are we going to use to get information out to the world of what is happening? That in the case that this degenerates into a full-time conflict. That's my number one question. Then the second question I have is, whenever I talk to my friends about Biafra, they always reference South Sudan, in the way they went into conflict after they got independence. But they never mentioned that South Sudan happened to be a growing economy, the fastest growing economy in Africa. Now my question is, in the event that Biafra comes, what measures do we have to ensure that, factions do not rise up to start fighting for the resources of Biafra that will now lead to conflict, just like South Sudan. Basically to prevent South Sudan's situation when Biafra comes. Those are my two questions.
Thank you very much. On the first question, the way we're going to get our information out to the world is that we have Radio Biafra, we have Biafra Television. Are you aware of that? It doesn't rely on the internet to do anything. If they shut down the internet, we have that. I'm not going to tell you how we do it, but we have means and ways to get our news to the whole world. And we'll keep broadcasting as well, and Biafrans everywhere will be able to hear us. It doesn't depend on anything to do with the zoo. It is via satellite. Only if they're going to go and shoot down or take down every orbiting satellite within Africa. If they cannot do that, which they cannot do, then our information is going to come out. That is number one. And then number two, people talk about this, it's very lazy, useless people who do not understand history. These are poor students of history. Where are you, if I may ask? You are in America, is that correct?
I'm in America, yes, sir.
Which is the greatest country in the world right now?
America, of course.
Did America fight a war or not within themselves or not?
They did. They fought a civil war. They even fought the British. They fought, they fought.
After fighting the British, they even fought themselves. Did that stop America from becoming, did that stop the USA from becoming the greatest country in the whole world right now?
No, sir, I did not.
Is what is happening in Sudan, according to what you said earlier, which is of course is correct. Can you tell me who has the fastest growing economy in Africa?
South Sudan.
Is there any family you can go to in the world right now where there is nobody quarreling another person?
No.
Even in your family, are you telling me that everything is very peaceful? Even husband and wife, they quarrel, don't they?
They do.
The people killing people in the bandits, the terrorists killing fellow Fulani people in Katsina, where are they from?
They are from Katsina.
That is my case. Thank you very much, my dear brother. You've asked a very intelligent question, and I believe we have answered it very, very intelligently as well. Thank you very much, and try and become part of the IPOB family, and God bless you too. May Chukwu bless you immensely. I have a caller on the line. I don't know if this caller is capable of hearing me on Skype. Can you hear me? The caller on the phone, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Please, good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Mazi, Christian Ikechukwu. I'm from Enugu State.
And where are you calling from?
But I'm calling precisely in South Africa. From South Africa.
From South Africa, please go ahead. We are listening. Please go ahead.
First of all, I want to greet all my brothers and sisters, IPOB family. Also with you, Mazi. You have tried a lot to us. I started following you as of 2012 to date, so I believe that I have captured one or two things ever since all this war.
Thank you.
But all I have to say right now is that when you come to all this in life, imagine even Jesus Christ had a Judas. So out of 12, there is a Judas. Then we calculate how many people living in this planet. So you bring out
each 12 one. Each 12 you bring one saboteur, so you find out that we have millions of them. So our people have to understand that we have a lot of saboteurs. So but you don't allow the saboteurs to discourage you, unless you don't know what you want. Like somebody like me, I always go to what I want, and I believe that I know what I want, honestly. So I really appreciate, at least for the first time, to get you. Last time you picked up my call, maybe network, to eventually cut it off. But as well, I really appreciate your good work, and I believe that Chukwuka will continue to bless you and bless every IPOB family.
Ise.
In the name of your worship.
Ise, thank you very much for your beautiful, beautiful prayers. Thank you very much for that. I have another caller on Skype. Can you hear me? Your name and where you are, please.
Good morning, Mazi.
Good morning to you.
I have two questions and one encouragement.
Go ahead.
My name is Mecha Slaughter from UK. Number one question is, our brother Yoruba, or brother Yoruba that are evangelizing, saw their list of the people that they said belongs to them. The Ishekiri is one of them. And Ishekiri, I believe, is our own.
Yes.
So how come they are claiming them?
They are not. They are entitled to lay claim anywhere, but do not forget that eventually, or in the end, Ishekiri people will go to the ballot. They will go to the polls, and they will decide where they wish to belong to. Don't forget that. Anybody can make any claim of anything, but during the debate, during the campaign, for the place beside that will determine where Ishekiri will belong to, then all the evidence we have at our disposal will be ventilated for the world to see and to hear. And then Ishekiri people will decide where they want to go to. It's as simple as that. That is why democracy is very beautiful. Allow the people to decide. We're not going to join issues with anybody, but eventually Ishekiri people will decide where they wish to belong to. Igodomigodo will decide where they wish to belong to. Nobody's going to force anybody to do anything, because we are going to practice pure, unadulterated democracy. The will of the people will be paramount at all times. Next question, please.
Thank you for that. Yeah, the next question is that, and now, every time you are broadcasting, you tell us that you tell the British, I want to know, is it writing, or have you gone to them, or is it the broadcast that you believe that they are listening to? Because if
I have held meetings, let me answer you. I have held meetings and I've also written. So it's not about what I broadcast. What I broadcast is for the consumption of Biafrans and lovers of freedom all over the world. When I say I am telling or I have spoken to, that means I have written, I have held a meeting with them. Which is we want, we will continue to engage the Nigerian government about perceived human rights abuses, but in the main, so, yes.
The next one is this evangelism. I have seen that what your broadcast have been doing a lot. I've seen these people, the middle belt, coming to realize what they have done and what they are doing, which they have repented. Then I've seen the Oduduwas, because this evangelism, what you are doing, I don't think it's, maybe we are, we are saying we want Biafra, but this broadcast is very, very good. Then now, I said, with this one that they have just done in London here, even if it is that time, let every place that the Biafrans are, let us evangelize there. Come out en masse and do the evangelism, so that if people do not see us, they will hear about us. It's very, very important, and it will not be once. People will begin to ask, these people, who are they? What do they want? Thank you.
Thank you very much. You have made a very compelling argument, and that is what people don't understand when they say to us sometimes, what has IPOB been able to accomplish? What have we done with our agitation? These are the things they don't understand that we have been able to accomplish. If not for what we are doing, do you think that people from the Middle Belt will rise up and say that they are sorry for the role they played during the war? Of course not. These are the things that most people don't appreciate, the level and the depth of work that we have done and will continue to do. Thank you, my dear brother. You've raised a very important point. What the Oduduwa people are doing. Thank you very, very much for that. I have a caller on the line. I wonder if this very caller can hear me. This caller, can you hear me? The caller on the, no, they cannot hear me. The caller on WhatsApp, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, my dear brother. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Ifeanyi Chukwu Ebo. Ifeanyi Chukwu Ebo is from Mbano.
Thank you.
Mbano is in Biafra land.
That reminds me of Okoti Ebo as well, who is from Igoromigodo land. Very, very interesting. We answer the same names. Please go ahead.
Thank you, my lord. I called you my lord. And I'm living here in Spain with my family. I live in Torrejón de Ardoz, capital Madrid. And I'm an IPOB member, deputy coordinator in Zone 5, San Cristobal. So, my lord, let me ask you one question. I have 5 questions to ask you, but let me go straight to the first one. We all know that from the fruit of your lips, I said all the whole world, not only Biafra, not Africa as a continent, but the whole world know that fruit of your lips, people enjoy good things.
Thank you.
People enjoy good things. But the unfaithful have an appetite for violence, which is not from us. My first question is, what are we going to do about the tunnel our enemies are building at Loba Uku? That is number one question. Should I go to the number 2, or you ask this one first? Or
let me answer this first. We have responded to Mietiala, and we have told them, made it very clear to them in no uncertain times that we would not allow any illegal presence of Fulani terrorists in our land. That includes Lop Anta or Lop Ugu. Very, very clear. We are making it abundantly. Let me tell you also something that people don't know. Do you know they sent Nigerian zoo soldiers to Lop Ugu to go and protect the land they have forcibly taken from the villagers? Some of you have seen our mothers protesting in and around that very area. Everybody has seen it. But as I said, is when you have a compromised leadership on the ground, as you have with your governors and also your Hanese, this is the type of nonsense you get. They sent Fulani soldiers to come and guard Fulani land grabbers in Imo State and in Abia State. Very, very sad indeed. Of course, we are not going to put up with that rubbish. As I've said before, they should go to the townships and rent houses the same way we do when we go to the north. Or they can build, they can buy land in the township and build. There is something unique about us as a people that most of the world are envious about. We are the only people that we come from village, but we live in the town. We are the only people. If you ask somebody now in England, oh, where are you from? I'm from London. Where were you born? They'll say, oh, St. Philip's Road. Who comes from St. Philip's Road? We don't come from St. Philip's Road. I come from Isiama Faruku. These are the things that our people don't even know what we have. We have township where we can live and work and do all of that. But we have our village where we come from. During Christmas, during celebration, during New Year Festival, we go back to our villages where we come from. That's where our umbilical cord is buried. Now, let's say you live in a street in a town somewhere, and you live on the 17th floor of a condominium, of a block of flats. Backyard is concrete. Outside is tarmac, is main road. And you gave birth to a child in that block. Where are you going to bury the umbilical cord of that very child? We send it to our village where we come from. That is who we are. And most of our people don't understand this. If you allow Fulani Janjaweed to come and take over our forest, if you allow them to come and desecrate our land, what you're trying to say in essence is that this very land that we hold very dear, this very land that our ancestors, through the grace of the Almighty God in heaven, gave us directive, gave us divine revelation as to how we're going to live with our land, that all that history for thousands of years, we're going to destroy it overnight. People come from Lobuku, from Lobanta. Their umbilical cord will need to be buried there. That is our culture, is who we are. And then when you go there's Janjaweed living there. What sort of nonsense is that? We can't have that rubbish, please. We're not going to have it. Please go ahead. Please go ahead with your second question. Go ahead.
Thank you, my lord. My second question is about the zoo passport that is in our position. Because one of the literatures that I read told me that it is the cracking of the wall, W-A-L-L, not wall, it is the cracking of the wall that allowed lizards and all sort of rodents to make nests in such cracked wall. So why I'm saying this is because we are in position of this zoo passport. How do we do? Can you use that your power which God has blessed you with and discuss with the authorities in diaspora so that they can give us a temporary document and for us to release this zoo passport and get it done? In case of any infringement, if we want to use document to solve our problem, that temporary can be able to help us before the real passport from the Biafra will come. That's my second question. God bless you.
And bless you too. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. If you find, in some countries, you may find the use of an identity card. The passport of the zoo you're holding doesn't mean anything. It's an identity card. That is what it means, just an ID card. It doesn't mean anything. When Nnamdi Azikiwe was fighting the British, he had British travel documents. That didn't stop him from fighting British to liberate, of course, the people he thought were his people, but today history has told us something completely different. Kwame Nkrumah had British travel documents. Patrice Lumumba had the travel documents of Belgium. It didn't stop him from doing what he's doing. Nelson Mandela, of course, had the travel documents of South Africa. Funny enough, that didn't stop him from doing what he's doing, because Nelson Mandela traveled and met our father, who is Nnamdi Amechi. Mbazulika Amechi housed him, even in our land. So I don't want to, place so much emphasis on this passport thing. You can decide to become stateless. You can decide to become stateless. You can destroy your zoo passport to become stateless. And then the UN where you are will guide you as to what to do. But if you needed to move about to travel, it's just a travel document. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't confer any special citizens, or should I say citizenship on you. It's just a mere travel document of convenience that you're using to move about and to stay where you are. Thank you very, very much, my dear brother. I have a caller who happens to be on Skype. Give us your name and where you're calling from, please, if you may. No, please. I have a caller on the line. Can you hear me? This caller is on Skype. Can you hear me?
Good morning, Mazi.
Good morning to you.
My name is Nnamdi Chukwu. I'm calling from Germany.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
So, Mazi, I have just one question. I don't want to waste a lot of time.
Go ahead.
So, my question is, I just want to know for us that are in diaspora, because we are there. You have a lot of soldiers that are in diaspora that are just waiting for anything that will happen in the Zoological Republic or Nigeria. So what I'm trying to ask is there anything that have been putting together for us in diaspora on how we can coordinate ourselves if something happens in Nigeria, if it happens today that in Biafra land war breaks out? Because there are a lot of us who are ready already, if anything happens in Biafra land, that we are going back home to fight that very war. because sometimes when I talk to people in Biafra land, like my brothers or relatives, they always say something. They always say this word that we are in Europe, we just run our mouth. Why don't we come to Nigeria where the thing is happening? So that is why I'm just trying to ask if there is anything that have been putting together for we that are in diaspora on how we can coordinate ourselves in case if something happens now that war breaks out. Nobody knows what may happen tomorrow in Biafra land. So we can be ready here already to go back home and join those people that are already at home to fight that very war.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. You said there are people who say, oh, you're in Europe and you're running your mouth. Can you ask that same baboon where they were when we shut down Onitsha Head Bridge? Where was this idiot when people wore Biafra regalia and traveled from all over the world in solidarity when I was in detention and we are landing at Murtala Mohammed Airport? Where are these idiots? Is it, you know, the thing about Efu and traitors that they're so foolish. They are so foolish. They are only concerned about the next gossip. They never look back. So all the rallies, when I was at the Kulobia, where was this idiot you are talking to? Where was the fool you are talking to? Maybe you should, you know, limit the circle of friends you have. Perhaps that way you can get rid of some of these idiots and fools that you have looking around and talking all manner of rubbish. Their mothers were impregnated by Fulani men. So what do you expect them to say? They want our land to be taken over. And that is not going to happen, not under my watch. It won't happen. And they know it. They know it's not going to happen. So what you need to do, my dear brother, is to go and join the nearest IPOB family. Things are happening there. That is where we tell you what we are doing. That is where you are going to do all you can to support this very effort we are making to restore Biafra. Thank you very, very much for your call. Thank you for that. I have another caller on the line. This caller, can you hear me?
Yeah, good morning, sir. I can hear you.
Good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Yeah, my name is Igwe Emmanuel. I'm calling from France.
From France. Thank you very much. Please go ahead.
Okay, I have just one question and I also have one thing to say. My question is, since we know that the Fulanis are coming in our land, with the help of the maybe the governors and the politicians, why can't we start taking them, using one of them as an scapegoat, so that the rest of them we learn from one person? So why can't we take one of them off? Why? Because I know once you give the order, maybe anyhow you want to give the order. Once you give the order, we will do something to take one of them out. So why can't you give the order? So we will take one out so that the rest we learn.
I prefer to do what Yeshua did, which is to keep praying for them to repent. That's what we do. But we have raised our banner. I want you to go and study what it means. In the medieval times, what it means to raise the dragon banner. Go and study it very well. And then you will understand what shall become of all these people. Thank you very much for your call. Thank you very, very much for your call. I believe I have another caller who happens to be on Skype. Give us your name and where you're calling from, please.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
My name is Uwa Sophia Obaze. I'm calling from Norway.
From Norway. Thank you
very much. Yes, sir. So I want to ask you very, very difficult question. You know, good morning, everybody, lovers of freedom all over the world. My name is Uwa Sophia. Of course, many of you know me. Sir, please, you know that tomorrow is Edo election in Edo State. And the name is Igodomigodo, fraudulent call Edo, which is Ado from the Yoruba land. And Oba of Benin said they have already rigged it, of course we know. And you know, the meeting Oba of Benin called a week back, he said in case if it happened to be like a Jonathan and Buhari issue, that Obaseki should say congratulations to Imam, Pastor Izeyamu. So, sir, our boys, of course, they will rise up and fight for their right. Of course, I believe that 100% or 98%. So, for example, they ring the election and our boys, because Migodo is the key to Biafra land, 100%. We know they argue that one, and our people are ready. Of course, they are not showing their faith, but they are ready, because through this election, we will get Biafra. I want to ask you, sir, for example, Migodo children, Bodi Esha, Uchi, Agedebude, Okbila, Esako, the Benis, they rise up and said, I want to take my glory. We want to break up this useless country called Zukabo Dioza Republic. Sir, will you help them? Will you back them up? Because all of us, we are fighting for the same thing. You understand? Although many of them are not joined IPOB. They are not in IPOB in that zone. So, will you back them up or will you join them? Because the key is Migodo. Sir, sorry to say this. The problem we have in Migodo is not Fulani, it's the Yorubas, the Oduduwa people, because they conquer us. I have the audio and the cassette. They conquer us. They fought war with the Migodo people and they placed their Oba there. So they want to conquer us the second time. We will not let them do it. So our people are very well know that they conquer us. They conquer the Migodo people. So right now we want to take our glory back, sir. If they start and be fighting the Yoruba Janjaweed, will you support them? That is my question. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. If I can support the Middle Belt to be free, if I can support Oduduwa to be free, why won't I support my own flesh and my own blood? And before any Efulefu begins to talk rubbish, go to your village and look for a man who is over 80 years old and ask them what their father said to them or told them about the war of the Idu and Oba, which is the Migodo war itself. So it is there in our folklore for people to avail themselves of. I will support our people in Migodo land with everything that I have. And I will also encourage other people as well, not just in Biafra land, but elsewhere, to be free. Because we know the result of the election is Yamu, the imam, the pastor imam, is going to be declared the winner. We know that for sure because APC wants to take the state and they will take it. That is what they do. And then in the next couple of weeks, I'm sure they will ask you to go to Ondo to go and vote as well. And in 2023, they will ask you to vote. And all our exercises in futility. We all understand that the only thing we need now is a revolution. We need a change of not just the way we govern ourselves, but the way we reason as well. I thank you very much, my dear sister, for your contribution and continue the hard work you're doing. Migodo is Biafra land and nobody's disputing that at all. If you're in doubt, go and ask an elderly man in your village. Ogo Idunoba that saw the enthronement of an Oba in Iduland, Migodo. It is there in history. Some of you don't know history, we cannot help you. Let us take this call. I have another caller who happens to be on Skype. Give us your name and where you're calling us from, if you may. It is taking time. The caller on the line, can you hear me on Skype? The caller on Skype, can you hear me? Yes, please. Your name and where you are.
Yeah, my name is Frank Chukunanyarama Aflogo. I'm from Anambra State, precisely from Obunka, precisely. I'm calling from India.
From India. Please go ahead.
Yes, I don't have much question to ask. I just want to enlighten our people concerning that language divided and rule issue concerning a 5-state issue.
Yes.
So what I just want to say about the issue is that language did not define the I've been in Libya before, and there is people there called Saba. There are people there called Triplo, which is Traplos. If in Libya, they will call it Traplos, which everybody has Triplo. And there are people there called Zoarino, which is Zoara. If you are Zoara, if you speak, if you are in travel to Muzuk, that state called Muzuk, if you speak, the Zoarino person speak to Muzuk. Muzuk can know here what exactly what the Zoarino people speaking. But they have language called they have language called Libi. Everybody can speak it. Everybody can hear it.
Is it Arabic? Is it same as Arabic? This Libi, is it Arabic?
Yes, it's Arabic. It's Arabic language.
Okay, go ahead.
Everybody can hear it. If a Zoarino person travel to Traplos, if you speak Zoarino inside Traplos person cannot hear it. But when you speak Arabic, which is they use it as a general language, everybody can hear you. Here in Libya, here in India, if you speak, there is they call the Mahastra. If you speak Mahastra to Banglo man cannot hear you. But when you speak Hindi, they can hear you.
Yes.
Then when you from Delhi, which is the capital city, travel to a place they call Pune. If you Delhi person speak language when you travel to Pune, the Pune man cannot hear. But when you speak Hindi, everybody can hear. So I don't know where people get all this about language, or those 5 states. If you don't speak Igbo, which means you are not Biafran, so I don't know where
it's
they
rubbish.
get all this.
It's pure bunkum. It's people who are not educated, my dear brother. These are people who are not. As I said before, if your orientation is from the zoo, especially from the zoo education system, you are in very serious trouble. You are running on a deficit. You don't know anything. If you ask somebody now, thank you very much for that clarification regarding Libya. If you ask somebody now about Egypt, they will tell you that Egypt is an Arab country, but originally it wasn't Arab people who were there. The Muslims conquered Egypt. I think it was about 639, 646 AD. So the people you see in Egypt today are not actually original Egyptians. But if you go there in Egypt, you will see them. They are the dark-skinned people, the Phoenicians of old. You will see them there. Our people, we know we don't, in Africa, we don't know anything. We don't study. We don't love history. We don't like reasoning. We don't like enlightenment. I've asked black people before, why do you think that Europe is preeminent? When I say Europe, because you know Europe gave birth to Canada, Europe gave birth to USA, Europe gave birth to Australia, to New Zealand. All the advanced countries of the world are from Europe. And I keep asking black people, do you know why Europe is preeminent in the advancement of humanity on this very earth? Do you know why they're always at the front? A black person doesn't understand it. The reason is because there was this thing we are doing now on Radio Biafra was done in Florence, in Italy, during the medieval times, as Europe was coming out of the Dark Ages. They held a conference. At that very conference, I think it was organized by the Medici family, I'm not too sure, I need to go back and check it very well, in Florence, in Italy. They decided to subject everything that they do to the court of reason. In other words, if you want to do something and it's not reasonable to do it, you don't do it at all. No longer superstition. These are the people that wrote the Bible. But they said that Bible is making us too superstitious and too foolish. Let us come away from this superstition and come to reason. As soon as Europe embraced reason, they became number one in the whole world till this very day. Now you understand how they roll. Our people need to go back to school to study very well. Black people are not we are not educated, honestly speaking. We think that education is certificate and degrees. No, it doesn't mean that. It means the ability to reason, not just by one person, but by a collective. The group, the entire group needs to make sense. The entire people together. That is why in Black Africa you have individual brilliance. You can have the Okonjo-Iwealas of this world. Individually, they are very, very brilliant, very, very smart, very intelligent. But collectively as a group, bring them together as a group of intelligent men and women, you see them floundering all over the place because they are not enlightened. It's called enlightenment. The ability to submit yourself to superior reasoning. When somebody convinces you with a superior argument, you accept it. Not going back and say what happened in 1972. And you've been convinced or put straight. You go back, oh, what happened in 1967? No, we should stop reasoning that way. I have a caller on the line. This caller is on our new WhatsApp line. Give us your name and where you are, please. Your name and where you are. The caller on WhatsApp for the last time, your name and where you are. If you say hello one more time, I'll cut you off. Your name and where you are.
Yeah, my name is Anele Chisimenu Kenya. I am calling from South Korea.
From South Korea.
Hello?
Yes, I'm listening. Go ahead, please. We are listening. Go ahead.
From South Korea. Yeah, I am from Abia State, Umahia, basically Oboyo Bibere. My leader, I have something to say.
Go ahead.
I don't have too much of time. You know, since 2012, we are inside this struggle. Why not to declare something can make you bring Biafra now, and we're not wasting time again?
No, I cannot do that, and I will tell you the reason why. The emergence of Biafra has to be an organic process where we take people along, not just taking them along in their conviction that freedom is a good thing, but in the way they reason, in the way they think, in the way they apply themselves, and also how disciplined they are. You said since 2012, we have been preaching Biafra is now to declare something again. Again. That is the problem we have as Black people. In 2012, we were preaching on this very platform, and very late that very year, IPOB was formed. 2013-14, I taught the world. 2015, I was arrested. I was incarcerated for nearly 2 years. I was incommunicado because I was sick and recuperating and making my way to Israel on the 3rd year. So all these years we've been together, for 3 years, I have been out of circulation, so to speak. Now listen very carefully. You are trying to educate. Listen, getting Biafra is the easy part. Sustaining the model that we have in mind is going to be very difficult. In order for us to make it easy for us and for everybody else, we need to enlighten, we need to educate. Look at all your governors. Look at Ohaneze, for instance. Look at those that reside in Lagos and in Abuja. Look at all the battles we are having to face with the Fulefus and the saboteurs everywhere. Do you think that all this resistance should not be overcome first before we make any declaration? Or do you want us to make a declaration now, and the Fulani colonial masters that you have now, those who are colonizing the Ohanezes of this world and your governors, those who are appointing governors for you, they will make our life hell in our land using these people as proxy. Don't you know that? Sometimes our people, you need to trust us, we know what we are doing. Our march towards freedom is unstoppable. But each step of the way, every step we take, every move we make is for a reason, is for a purpose. And eventually and ultimately Biafra will come. I share your impatience. I want it to be today, tomorrow. But the Sabos cannot be there as we are marching into the land of freedom. It is not possible. And somebody could have said to Elohim in heaven when the Israelites left Egypt, why don't they just take a straight route from the northern land of Goshen all the way, just cut across and jump into Gaza and then into the promised land? Elohim said, no, because you won't appreciate it. I'm going to take you on a detour. on a longer route. And eventually they got in. And eventually they fought their way in. What I want us to be doing right now is to be asking ourselves, what are we going to do to support this very effort that we are all making to restore Biafra? Because Biafra is very imminent. Looking at the zoo, do you think the zoo will survive the next 12 months? Is that what you think? It cannot survive it. They will bribe. You know, when we say these things, they go. All they do is that they go to Hannes and they give them money. They go to the governors. They say, don't worry, you'll be the next president. And the governor goes to his village and says to his village, what IPOB is doing is going to deny you your right, because I'm been lined up to be made the president of the zoo, Nigeria. If you allow IPOB in this village, it means that I am no longer going to be the president, and none of you here will be senior special assistant. You're not going to be looting money as the Fulanis have been doing. These things are very, very powerful and very persuasive arguments to some people. So these are some of the things we are seeking to overcome. We went to war in '67. There was no global media outreach. This time, the narrative is different. We went to war then with nobody being able to tell our story. Now it is different. We went to war being demonized by Britain and by Fulani Janjaweed and by Yorubas and Middle Belt. Of course, that is the truth. They demonized us. Nobody can rose up to speak on our behalf. But today, is that the case? Today, Middle Belt has apologized. Today, Oduduwa is asking for their own freedom. Today, everybody have realized that Igbo man is not their problem. Today, we even know that Igoromigoro is Igbo land. So it is now becoming very clear to all of us. And had I declared Biafra in the year 2017, would all these things have emerged? It wouldn't have. So sometimes we know what we are doing. But let us not forget we are under the supreme guidance of heaven itself. Chukwukikabiama. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much, my dear brother. Go ahead then.
I was born in Maiduguri.
Yes.
In Buni, Borno State.
Yes.
I know how these Fulani people are. I know how they are behaving. I bought into their hands before I left them.
Yes. Go ahead. Have we lost? Oh my goodness, we have lost our dear brother. Unbelievable. Yes, my dear brother, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, go ahead, please. I thought I lost you. Go ahead.
I can hear you.
Go ahead.
I can hear you. Like I said before, I born in Maiduguri, Yadimbuni. I behave because of to deal. I know how to collect things with their hand. Because of to collecting Biafra like this system we are going, I don't think these Fulani people can give us that Biafra is.
Fulani is not going to give us. Listen to me. Listen very carefully. Fulani cannot. It is not in their gift. It's not in their power to give us Biafra. But we must, in all that we do, in everything that we do, there are what I call very, very basic, internationally acceptable standard we must adhere to. That is something we keep forgetting. There are some basic standards we must adhere to. I don't want us to make the mistakes of the past. Ojukwu went to Aburi, discussed or negotiated restructuring and came back. The zoo government led by Gowon reneged on it. The subsequent actions of our leader gave room for the world to demonize Biafra, to say we seceded. Do you understand? We know what we are doing. We are not relying. Who is Fulani Nachinama? Who are they? Who is Fulani? The enemy is, I wouldn't call them enemy. The person controlling you through Fulani is Britain. You think it's Fulani that is controlling you? It's Britain that is controlling you. And all the forces of neocolonialism, that is the mistake I don't want us to make, please. Who is Fulani? Don't give them credit they don't deserve. Fulani who are not polished, enlightened, educated enough to do anything. All they do is to move cattle from place to place. How can they be holding us? Fulani is not holding us anything. It's Britain that is using Fulani as a smoke screen, as camouflage, to be holding us. Just like the man behind the Buhari mask in Asorok. Thank you very much for that, my dear brother. Thank you very, very much. I have another caller on the line. Another caller on the line on WhatsApp. Give us your name and where you are, please. Their line is fluctuating. It is fluctuating. I will give them a few more seconds. If it doesn't come on, then I will proceed to the very next person, which I have just done. The caller on the line, can you hear me, please? The caller on WhatsApp, can you hear me?
Oh, Amadike, one of Biafra. Good morning, my lord.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Mazi Ifeanyi Chukwumwara. I'm a native of Effium, Effium in Ebonyi State.
Thank you very much. Please go ahead.
My own director, I'm very happy to hear your voice for the very first time since this struggle began. That's talking to your phone. I'm happy. I'm blessed. I'm blessed today. I'm very blessed.
You're welcome.
I have a very critical and disturbing question.
Go ahead.
It's not about our struggle, but of what our people is going through in Biafra land. Yes. Does this system, more especially in Anambra State, that's where the thing is mainly domiciled. Yes. I don't think it's so in other states. There's this group of people that are called touts. They give themselves different names, but all of them are Aburo touts.
Yes.
Are you getting me? These people don't have any significant job that you say that this is what these people are doing, or they are government internal generated revenue agency or something of that nature. They will group themselves and station themselves in different locations, and they are there to intimidate and harass and extort money from our people. They're suffering in this country now. And there are people, there are some people that have a very good lucrative business that are out of business today because of what is happening in this country. There are some people that are employed, that are civil servants, that are out of their work today because of what is happening. There are some people that are workers in construction companies. There's no construction work going on in this country now. They are out. So most of them borrowed keke or hired purchase, or they were able to gather small money that they made from their work or from their business. They purchased keke to be sustaining their family. Then somebody that has nothing, that is not doing anything, a young, full-blooded young man that is full of life, will be on the road, station themselves in different locations, in strategic locations, that they know that these keke riders, bus drivers, cannot escape. Those people will station themselves there, extort huge amount. By the time you do your business, sometimes you will work for them. You go home empty-handed. And if you insist that you will not give them money, if you dare ask them, what am I giving you this money for? Including people, if you buy something from the market, you carry the thing on your head, you pay. You carry it on wheelbarrow pushers, you pay. So, Hamadik, I want to ask, is there anything you can do for us to dampen, because we can't be suffering from the zoo police and army and all that the federal government imposed on us. Then our own people will also be a torment on our flesh to impoverish us the more. Most of these keke drivers and bus drivers and all of them, many people are even afraid to go out to do a legit business to sustain their family because they are afraid that these people can even kill you if you refuse to give them the money. They will beat you to stupor. So, Hamadika, my question is there anything that can be done, at least to give these people relief? To give these people a relief, these guys need to look for something to do. If it's that keke, they should not get their own and ride. That thing they are doing is not a job. They are destroying the life of our people. Please, Hamadika, I want to know, is there anything that can be done to relieve us from this mess? Because I know this can be in Biafra land.
It won't be. Thank you very much for that, my dear brother. But I wanted to listen very attentively, please, and everyone else around the world, if you've joined us this very morning. Now, listen very carefully, please. Those people you call touts and aburos, and they charge you money in the market when you buy something, they stop the keke and they take your keys and they make your life a misery. Do you think they fell from heaven? You may not know this. We are set up by the same people you voted for or you claim you voted for. They are called men of task force, either from the governor's office or from the local government area. That is why they can do anything they like and they get away with it. It is the culture of politics in the zoo. Some of you have forgotten that the dumbing down of educational standards in the zoo, the shutting down of industries in Biafra land, the deliberate policy of mass immigration from Biafra land in search of greener pastures have reduced us to a bunch of wild animals. That is something you don't seem to understand. The people who are on the streets extorting money from people don't want to do it. But the governor empowered them as task force. Local government chairman empowered them as task force to go and get money for them. The same thing that happens with police checkpoints. There is no difference. If those in uniform can do it and get away with it, why can't ordinary unemployed people? Look at all the industries we had under Dr. Michael Okpara shut down. Look at all the industries that Sam Mbakwe built, shut down, destroyed, decimated. Even stockfish that we used to bring into Aba and textile, Obasanjo himself destroyed it with a stroke of the pen. There was a time that we used to import goods and services from Iguacha Seaport, closed down, shut down. People have no jobs to do. So you only have two choices. Do you have them on the roads extorting money, or you have them carry guns and become armed robbers in the night? Which one do you prefer? None of them is good. That is why we are fighting to restore Biafra. And that is why I know if we had all the money in the world, we would have engaged them meaningfully. They don't like what they're doing. They don't like it at all. But they need to survive. The basic human instinct is to try and survive. And that is what they're trying to do. I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying it is good, but we are going to get rid of it. But you must understand what led to it. When Obiano instituted his task force, that is what they're going to do to extort money from people. The various local government chairmen established their own task forces, and that is exactly what they're going to do, extort money from hapless commuters. We need to stop that from happening, and we need to provide alternative. That alternative is going to be provided inside Biafra, not outside it, because anything you do, they will go to Abuja and they will kill it off. Thank you very much, my dear brother, for that very searching question. I have another caller on the line. This caller, can you hear me? You are on WhatsApp, can you hear me? The caller on WhatsApp, can you hear me?
Good morning from here, Mozambique. Mazi from Omaka. From Mozambique, province. Mazi, I have two questions to ask this morning.
Go ahead.
I want to please you to, so that you can understand me well, because our leader, there is something that we always borrowing from outside the world. You understand? We are the people that they like to copy something and something that happen in other countries. Mazi Nnamdi, please, I want to ask this question. Number one is my leader, our women in Biafra land. We have culture to follow it. And we always say that our mothers at home and Biafra land. When, like this year in Mozambique or other country, if somebody looking for the documents and other things, they say that you want to have marriage with the woman from there before you have their own documents. My leader, my question is, if our people get to Biafra now, our women want to marriage, other foreign country want to marriage have marriage with our women, to get paper of Biafra land. If they do divorce, this issue of divorce, are you going to accept? Are we going to permit in Biafra land? Because there's divorce in the other countries. If you have paper, if that person cannot, the marriage cannot go on, he can go and divorce. Because most of that is not our culture. How are we going to follow this matter?
There are two issues you raised. One is, can foreigners marry our daughters to get Biafran papers when Biafra is fully restored? And the answer is yes. We are not going to regulate who falls in love with who and how. If people are in love and they want to get married, nobody can stop them. After all, most of us are abroad, and we married other people's daughters as well to get the papers of those countries. So the same thing is going to happen. We cannot do it outside and expect it not to happen in our land. But what I'm saying is, which is a spin-off from this very question that you asked, and the answer that I'm providing is this. Our women should be the ones actually at the forefront of this very struggle and this very fight to restore Biafra. At least that way, rather than going to a criminal Pentecostal pastor and praying and fasting to get husband, there will be abundance of husbands everywhere for her to choose from. Because we'll be in our land, marrying our own daughters, making things possible, so to speak, the way it was in the past. That's what I have to say about that. And about divorce, if there are some things that the state cannot regulate. And Biafra land is not going to be an interventionist state where the state has to decide what happens in a marital home. We're not going to do that. If people want to get divorced, that's entirely up to them. If they want to stay together, that's entirely up to them. But the states will try to support the family as the very basic unit. We'll do all we can to make sure that help and assistance are provided to families. That is how it's supposed to be. And, at least to help reduce the occurrence of divorce here and there. But apart from that, we are not going to tamper, to regulate, or to intrude upon people's homes. That is not the job of the state. That is the job of the family and the extended family, and we allow them to deal with it. Thank you very, very much for that. Thank you for that. There is another caller on the line. Let me see if we can get that very caller. Let me take this very call. The caller on the line, can you hear me, please? Your name and where you are. I can hear my voice, and as I said earlier, once I hear my voice, that's the end of it. That is the end of it. Let me take this call. The caller on the line, can you hear me, please? The caller on WhatsApp, can you hear me? Your name and where you are, please.
My name is Chika Ike.
And where are you calling from?
I'm calling from London, sir.
Thank you very much. Go ahead. The world is listening to you. Go ahead.
Ohamadike.
You're kind.
Ohamadike.
You are kind.
Ohamadike.
Remain blessed. Remain blessed.
May the oil upon your head never run dry, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You have sacrificed a lot for Biafra people. You did. That is what a people for his people. My question to you this morning is, we have our brothers and sisters who are in Nigerian military and Nigeria police, Air Force, and they want to come out of this Nigerian military. They want to come out of the Air Force. My question is, because of they use this job they are doing for Nigeria, they use it to feed their families. That is their source of income. If they want to come out from the job they are doing for, do you think that Biafra can offer them in return for them to give up these jobs they have in Nigeria, please? Thank you, sir.
It's a very valid question. Thank you very much, my dear sister, because people are trying to feed their families. So I can understand their concerns, which are quite legitimate. But I will answer your question with a quote from the very famous U.S. President, John Kennedy. They should be thinking of what they can do for Biafra, not what Biafra can do for them, because they will benefit. We have all, as you alluded to earlier when you started, we have all sacrificed something for this. If sacrificing your 30,000 naira per month job is what it will take for you to help bring about or usher in the kingdom of heaven on the face of this very earth, I think the price is worth it. As I said earlier, anybody leaving the army or the zoo police and you leave the army or the police to work directly with or for IPOB, then we'll see what we can do to take care of you. That is all. That's all we can do. I mean, to help sustain your family. I'm not saying we are going to match the rates that you're earning presently or currently with the zoo, army, or police, but we'll try and see what we can do. The local family will try and see what they can do to support you. That is what we are going to do, because the Biafra we are fighting for is for everybody. Nobody's having fun in the zoo in Nigeria. Nobody's having fun. Everybody wants to get out. And so do we. That is why we must do all that we can within our powers to ensure that we leave the army and the police to come and become part of this very noble family. Thank you very much, my dear sister. I have another caller on the line on WhatsApp. Give us your name and where you're calling from, please. Your name and where you're calling from, if you may. Can you hear me?
My name is, yes, I can hear you.
Go ahead.
It's Nnamdi.
Nnamdi, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Poland.
From Poland, please go ahead.
Yes. And
go ahead.
I've sent it on WhatsApp message because of, I don't know if we consider it sensitive.
Okay.
That was why I sent on a WhatsApp message. But I don't know if you want me, if you can go through it and work on it, fine. But if you see, maybe I don't know. I know a lot of people, thousands of people are sending messages and calling. So
thousands is not easy. They crashed our old line.
It's very important.
I had over 8,000 messages. Unbelievable. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
thank you. I'll go through it. Do you have any question to ask live on air?
Not just the contribution, because I think it's sensitive. So that is why. But I think if you can have the time,
I'll go through it. I promise you that I will go through it. I will go through the messages. I will go through it. That is a promise. I promise you that. Thank you very much, my dear brother. I will go through your messages, and if there's anything for us to implement, we'll implement it from there. Thank you very much. The caller on the line, can you hear me? Your name and where you are. The caller on Skype, can you hear me? No. The caller on Skype, can you hear me? The caller on Skype, can you hear me?
Hello. Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, my dear brother. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Nnamdi. I'm calling from Lagos, Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Please go ahead.
Madike, good morning. May God Almighty bless you, and may God continue to protect all our prayers on your head will be fulfilled in Jesus' name. Madike, God bless you. You have done more than enough that we Igbos, we don't deserve your Hamadike. God will continue to bless you. Hamadike, this morning I come with let me put it in this way, kind of contribution for the this forthcoming October 1st.
Yes.
I want us to put more awareness on this, because the life of our children matters a lot, because there are a lot of there are a lot of attacks and a lot of terrorist attacks, as in planned attacks coming up, or a serious one. Even recently, a few days ago, my brother left Lagos to Abuja, and during that week, there are a lot of attacks, that full and bandits attacks, very rampant in Abuja. And now they have pointed many states, even Rivers State, pointed many states that they are going to seriously attack. And no one knows when this attack will take effect. It can happen during the time of maybe any marching of whatever useless independence, remembrance, or whatever they will do. So I want us to say more on as this issue, create more awareness, so that our people will remain at home. We sit at home. Let all the Biafran land be silent. In fact, let everybody just enter house, cook a soup, cook anything you feel like, eat and enjoy yourself. Let our children never come out to risk at their lives, because Nigeria don't deserve die or lose any single person for Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and well spoken. Thank you very, very much for that. And let me reiterate this very morning, every coordinator in Biafra land, every principal officer of state, every servant of the wonderful people of Biafra must ensure that there will be no market on the 1st of October. Nothing will happen, not even churches, no mosque, nothing whatsoever. There is going to be total silence across the entire land of Biafra because there is nothing to celebrate about the zoo. The zoo have brought death, misery, mayhem, poverty, and impoverishment to our people. And that day, our silence will speak for us. It will be so loud that the whole world will not fail but to understand that we are fed up with the zoo. There will be no marching. I am telling parents in Biafra land, do not kid your children or dress them up to come out to march for Fulani Janjaweedism. If you're celebrating 1st of October, you are celebrating Fulani mediocrity. You are celebrating British neo-colonialism. You are celebrating poverty. You are celebrating deprivation. You are celebrating Mietiala terrorism. You are celebrating banditry, and you are celebrating idiocy. And we're not going to have that in Biafra land. So parents, be warned. Do not send out your children because there will be terror attacks in Biafra land, planned, orchestrated, and executed by Mietiala terrorists in Biafra land. They are there now in place. Some of them are even in the army and the police as well. Do not risk the lives of your children. Biafra land will be empty and very silent on that very day. Markets will not open. Markets will not open. Nothing will happen on October the 1st. Very, very important. I have a caller on the line. This caller is on WhatsApp. Can you hear me? If you can, your name and where you are, please. The caller on WhatsApp, can you hear me? No. The caller on WhatsApp.
I can hear you.
Thank you. Your name and where you are, please.
Good morning, Amadike.
Good morning to you.
I'm calling from Scotland.
From Scotland. Give us your name again. You're from calling from Scotland. Give us your name again.
Abel.
Abel.
My
Yes.
full name is Chukwumike.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I want just to use this opportunity to appreciate you for your work you've been doing.
Thank you. Go ahead,
You've really opened our eyes. I'm originally from Delta. Yeah. So you've really opened our eyes and our mind of what we've been hearing. So a lot of things that we don't know before, you've really opened our eyes. So I just want to thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for your call. Thank you for your call. I have a caller now on WhatsApp. This caller, can you hear me? Sorry, on Skype, rather. On Skype. Can you hear me? The caller on Skype, can you hear me? No, they're not there anymore. The caller on Skype, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, please. Your name and where you are.
Can I hear you, sir?
Yes, your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, my name is Kelechi Oham. I'm calling from Netherlands.
From Netherlands. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, I don't want to waste most of our time because I know so many people are on the line. There's something I really want to know, and I think some of us will also want to know that about former President Goodluck Jonathan. I don't understand that man. I don't understand because
you are not alone. Me too, I don't understand him. You are not alone in misunderstanding him. I don't understand him either. I can understand the first lady, President Jonathan, but I don't understand Goodluck Jonathan. Go ahead.
Yeah, because he whose house is on fire cannot chase rat, and many things are happening even within his own region. As a former president, he have never said anything. We don't know where he belongs, and I think the way we see Sabotuas, I think is the same way we see him too.
I wouldn't go that far. I think that he's misguided, as his namesake was, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Dr. Azikiwe was, who happens to be his namesake. They are misguided. All this, they are one Nigeria rubbish, trying to play the good guy, trying to show that they are detribalized, all that junk, all that garbage. Never paid anybody. He never pays. He'll be forgotten, very quickly forgotten. Maybe he'll be remembered as being a very tolerant and a decent human being. Nobody's saying that Jonathan is an evil man. Of course he's not. Jonathan is a very nice, decent, honorable man, but he's not. He hasn't got the liver nor the heart to lead the nation. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have what it takes to serve his people. It is some old rubbish. It's just like he will get one of those mzuko that you have of Igbo people in Lagos or in Abuja claiming that, Al-Haji is their friend. They want to build one Nigeria. And when you ask them questions about the same one Nigeria they claim they want to believe in, you see them floundering all over the place. So Jonathan is actually... is a very big mistake, to be honest with you. He's not strong enough. We need people who are patriotic, and he's not one of them. As Sabu, of course, he's not.
Honestly, that's what I wanted to clarify, because it's good that we know where he stands, and we know also where to place him, because he's one of us. And if he's in the side of sabotage, we have to know. If he's not in the side of sabotage, we also have to know, so that when there's time of reckoning.
Jonathan is not a saboteur. He's just misguided.
The emergence of Biafra and those who were against Biafra emergency.
Of course. We hope that before then they will all change and become useful to these very efforts to free our people from bondage. Thank you very, very much, my dear brother. Thank you very much for that. We have the time now is approximately, I think it's about, say, nearly 10 minutes to the top of the hour, 10 minutes to 9 a.m. in the blessed land of Biafra. There is another caller who happens to be on WhatsApp. Can you hear me? Your name and where you are, please.
Good afternoon to you.
Good morning to you from here. Your name, please, and where you're calling from.
My name is Oktebaram Chedozi. I am calling from Greater Noida, India this afternoon.
Thank you.
Mazi, I would like to thank you for what you have been doing for us and your consistency. I always run from there. Mazi, please permit me to make this announcement to our people, to Biafrans living in India. This announcement is on behalf of IPOB National Coordinator in India, Ms. Mazi Okechukwu Okwi. We are advising every IPOB, every Biafran living in India that wants to join IPOB to hasten fast and do so. The people in charge is 8800133187. I call it again, 8800133187. So Mazi, this morning I have a question that has been bothering me, because if I can refer to what is happening, especially in the USA, where we understand that there's civilization there already. There are people, there are blacks in USA who are fighting for the liberation of blacks in USA as well. But the fact is that these people are not able to understand how deep fighting those that are fighting against them. So this morning, like let me use this young woman. Her name is Candace Owens.
Yes,
she's a conservative. I've been following her for some time. So this woman has an agenda to open up the eyes of the young black people in America to understand what is going on and how they are being used, how their rights have been taken away, and someone will come and rob you. What am I going to say now? Like give you chaff, claiming that he's doing enough for you, while the person that is doing the right thing for you, making you to be an enemy to that person. I'm fighting. You understand? So I want to refer that to Biafra land. Like, this is what I call battle phase 2. Because after Biafra is achieved, there are these people amongst us who doesn't understand what Biafra means, who don't care, or they don't process information the way it's supposed to be. Because from my own view, I understand that the reason why you teach us, the reason why you're doing this program, not only to liberate Biafra, but to also to liberate our level of reasoning, to also up our level of reasoning so that we can reason to some some level of standard, so we can have some level of standard in our reasoning. But these people, we have them amongst us. They are our people. We can't chase them away. But these set of people, whenever you look at them, not they are saboteurs. So listen, they don't care to know. All they want is doing their own thing. So I want to ask, do we have anything structurally? If we can have blacks in USA today doing this against people that want to liberate them, do we have any structural form of trying to liberate our people? Because you started this, and we know what you have put in to doing and liberating some of us, which have been little enlightened today. We are still going. Yes. Do we have anything in place more to do or to give?
Yes.
Our people come out of this bondage of low reasoning and low level of processing information. Thank you.
Thank you. I welcome that. Thank you very much. Low reasoning and low level of processing information. Very, very critical. Very, very critical. We need to understand. That's why I speak the way I do. I'm a very big fan of Candace Owens. I am a very big fan of hers. She's a conservative, and so am I as well. I don't massage people's idiocy. I tell you things the way they are. The blacks in America, they're fighting a wrong battle. I say that all the time. They are fighting a wrong battle. What they need to do is to join hands to liberate Africa. By liberating Africa, they need to start with Biafra. Once Biafra is free, they will have some measure of, should I say, respect and class, because then there will be a country in Africa they can reference and say that this is actually a very good story as to how we have come, how far we have come, where we are going, and the fact that we can actually feed ourselves and make meaningful contribution to advancement of humanity and mankind in general. Right now, black people cannot boast of that anywhere in the world. Nobody is being racist even towards Indians, Asians in America. Nobody is being racist towards any other group of people, only black people, because there is no reference point. India is doing very well. South Korea is doing very well. Japan is doing very well. So what are you being racist towards Asians for? They are doing very well. Even if you go to Latin America, they are doing all fantastically well. Brazil is an advanced economy. Argentina is doing very well. Everybody else is doing very well. It's only in Africa there is not one single good news. Even the South Africa that white people built and left, blacks are now crumbling it in South Africa. I don't understand what is going on. You talked about enlightenment. People don't know why we do what we do. There's a secret I'm going to give you this morning so you understand why we have spent years preaching on this very platform. Biafra comes and becomes an independent nation. Britain can decide to collapse Biafra economically within a matter of years. All they need to do is to go and meet the likes of Nwodo and those in Ohaneze, all these Efulefus that are in Abuja and in Lagos. They give them the plate for minting Biafra currency. And they'll go and mint Biafra currency and flood the market with it. So at every year, you'll be running at nearly about, say, 25% inflation rate. Hyperinflation, year in, year out. By the time you do it that way, 25% every year inflation in about, should I say, 5 years, your currency is worthless. It is useless. What 10 Ejema could have bought before, you now need 20 Ejema to be able to buy it. And your economy will die a natural death. Do you know the meaning of Secret Service in America, those that guard Trump and all the dignitaries in the USA? Do you know what their remit is? Do you know what the original job is? Their job is to find those that counterfeit the currency of the United States of America. That is their main job. Their main job is to stop counterfeiting of US currency. I don't know if you're aware of that. People don't know why Africa have not succeeded. And you don't ask yourself, why is it that you have all these countries in Africa, yet they've not succeeded? And why is it, I take CD, which is the Ghanaian currency, for example. Many years ago, they changed their currency. They changed the notes, they changed the denominations, they changed everything. Then I think about 200 Ghana cedis was exchanging for $1. But today, do you know what it is? It is nearly 500. It's still the same thing. We don't know how to guard ourselves, guard our economy, protect our sovereignty. Because, you see, if you educate your people, if you educate them, they understand that the welfare of everybody is their own welfare as well. Any day a black person can understand that your next door neighbor's children going to school is to your own advantage. Any day you wake up in the morning and you know that the well-being of your uncles and your aunt is also your own well-being, that day you would have advanced. That is why in the Western world, education is compulsory. That is why in the Western world, the state will pay or subsidize your schooling. That is why in the Western world, they invest so much in education, because the best people you have protecting the interest of the nation are the enlightened citizens. I don't know if I've made that very clear. That is why we do what we do. So my brother, you are absolutely right. The way we reason as black people is flawed. We are fighting a losing battle. Every strata of governance in the United States of America is controlled by European whites because they built America. They brought you as slaves to help them to build America. For 250 years, we provided free labor, whereas other civilizations were paying people. In this modern era, America never paid a dime for 250 years. That is why they are number one today. Look at, if you go to Italy, for example, you see all those wonderful and beautiful monuments. All those things that they built during the Roman times. It's all free labor. That's why they are there. Look at all the economies and civilizations that were, taxed with paying their workers, paying their laborers. They don't have such a thing. That tells you all you need to know about it. We must change the way we reason and the way we think. That is why we preach on this platform. Not that we hate anybody. When we say things about black people, it is for them to go back, cry, reason, and change. So that when you come out, you can reason like human beings. Look at the whole of Africa. There is nothing. Is not one single country you can hold up and say this country is a beacon of hope for Africa. And that is what we hope that Biafra is going to become. That is why we do what we do. And that is why we're not going to stop until we accomplish it. Anybody who doesn't like Candace Owens don't like the truth. The truth is that with the way we have been doing things as black people hasn't yielded any result for 250 years. And unless we change it, we won't yield any in time. Look at the zoo, for instance. A white man came and called you Nigeria. That is not your name. There was nothing called Nigeria until the white man came. You all swallowed it. You call a man Lord Lugard. Somebody calls Nnamdi Kanu Lord just out of his term of endearment, maybe because they like what we are doing, not for anything special, not that we have any special position. Somebody who goes to church says, oh, you're trying to compare yourself to Jesus Christ. But the same idiot, you ask him, you say Lord Lugard. You say Tanko Ibrahim, the aeroplane turner, the Sharia Chief Justice of the zoo. They call him my Lord. Nobody complains. These are the mentality. These are some of the distressing attributes of our reasoning that we are endeavoring to change. That is what we are trying to change in our people. And I'm glad today that we have succeeded, because IPOB is all over the world. We are very formidable, exceptional, because we know what is good for us, and we know that Biafra is good for everybody. The Fulefus will speak, the Janjaweed will sponsor them from everywhere. But in the end, the truth prevails. And that is why we are preeminent. That is why we are IPOB. That is why we are Biafrans. And that is why we will continue to do this until Biafra is restored and beyond. I thank you all very much for listening this very morning from wherever you are. And we shall improve. We've seen the criticism about our lines. Some of you have criticized us about that we don't have many lines, and we are going to improve all of that with time. But once again, I thank you very much for listening to us this very morning. If you're going to work, if you're at work, if you're going to sleep or you're sleeping, I pray that Chukwukika Biama guide, protect, shield, and sustain each and every one of you until we get into Biafra. From me, from here, good morning.